Hello, welcome back to Somehow There's More News show. But this week we don't have anything super crazy. We just have stuff to follow up on from last time we talked about stuff. So last week we talked about how there were these mystery items added to the item schema. And at the time we weren't sure what to make of any of this information because honestly, technically all of it could change. But what ended up happening was that literally none of this changed. And all of it was actually reasonable to take seriously. So it didn't end up being moved to being a Christmas crate. It didn't end up being the new Christmas key or whatever, or like a new taunt. And the item class no entity actually still makes sense. So what is it? If we go and search this up in today's schema after the update has come out, it's Festivizers for all weapons and Dismissmas Ornament Beach Ball. That's what these two mystery items were. So if you were living under a rock, in the most recent Dismissmas update, they added like 16 minutes worth of new festives. They're like fucking... It's 87 new festive items have been added to the game. So that's what this first one is. They called it Festivizers for all weapons. I think it's just, like the item name, so to speak. There's a guy who went and made Festivizers for every weapon in TF2 that doesn't have them yet. And so this is like a self-made they give them to credit them. And this is the Dismissmas Beach Ball. If I tab into TF2, they added a new type of beach ball and it looks like an ornament. Wow, crazy. So that's what they were for. The guy who made the Festivizers also posted an image of what it looks like in their inventory. You might have noticed, if we scroll up a little bit, for example, the Team Fortress 2 soundtrack promo package, they define what the image in the backpack is. And you would notice that neither of these have anything like that defined. It's just a mystery item. What does it look like? Well, it is the most disappointing possible answer I can give you. This is what it looks like. It's just fucking nothing. it's just a blank square. But yeah, so to summarize, these are what these two weapons are. It's an item so then Valve can give the creators a self-made. That's what it is, and they just look like nothing. It's just nothing. Alright, cool. One mystery down. Now, on the topic of Festivizers, so as I said, there were 87 new festive weapons, and we compiled a nice list of them. So these were all of the stuff that already existed, and then down here are all of the new stuff that they added, in case you're too busy to watch my video. That shows off literally everything. But here are all of the new stuff. It's 87 items. But if you are a true TF2 fan, you would know that's not even close to all of the weapons in TF2. So what's interesting is that there's a bunch of stuff that they didn't add though, and we compiled a list of that too. So they broadly fell under a few categories. So they were wearables. So they're not the traditional kind of items. They're things that you wear on your back or on your feet or something. Or there's something that you throw. They're like a grenade. Apparently also glass materials have an issue. And there's also a snag with weapons that use the same skin, the same texture for both teams. And the existing Festivizer technology just doesn't support that. So a bunch of those kind of weapons were also not added. And besides that, there's some weapons that have like super hyper-specific niche one-off issues that we couldn't categorize into like a broad category. And then this is the section for others. So there is some things about how invasion weapons didn't get Festivized, and then there's some stuff that the creator just couldn't explain. And then down here we have the stuff that are subject to multiple problems. Okay, so that's the high-level overview. Let's look at the images, the pretty images. So bot killers weren't added. The Luger morph is subject to the team color issue. So it looks the same on either team. So how could you have, like the red and blue lights, right? That's not technology that's been implemented yet. Capper's in here because this is an invasion item and Valve didn't want to deal with it for whatever reason. So pocket pistol can't be neutral, or it can't be team colored. Flying guillotine is like the same thing. The bonk apparently shares... Oh yeah, the bonk shares a model with the Critter Cola, and it just simply changes like the skin on the model. So apparently that was also a snag. And then here's the issue of like the Mad Milk being throwable. Oh yeah, this one, the atomizer was just not festivized for no particular reason. The creator just said there's straight up no reason not to do it. Same with the memory maker. And here's an example of a wearable. So this is like an extra thing on your back. So Valve doesn't currently have code implemented to make this work. And here's an example of Festivized gunboats, but they were not added. This one might be the coolest one, but it didn't get added. This guy went and added like Festivized base jumper, so there's just fucking lights everywhere. Okay, here's another example of another class of problems. Presumably the half Satoichi had like an issue with how it's shared between the demo and the soldier, and they're slightly... Actually, I think they might be the same model. It's just... Actually, is it the same model? Does someone know? Fuck, we should check. I mean, this guy made different festivizers for soldier and demo, but I think they're the same model, so couldn't you just use the same one across both of them? I don't know. The creator of it said that apparently the differences between how they're positioned for the different classes is an issue. Oh yeah, here's another class of problem. The rain blower couldn't be added because it looks different depending on whether you have pyro vision or not. The hot hand, I think, is similar to the gunslinger, where instead of a weapon, it's a sub-model on the actual player model. And so that's something that Festivizers don't have the technology for. The horseman apparently was fine. Wait, no, why did he say there's nothing wrong with there's nothing that's stopping it from being added? Doesn't this have... I think this is a case of this axe only having one skin and it's being used on both teams. You know, because there's no like team coloring on it. Oh yeah, here's another issue. On top of being the same texture for both teams, you also have to throw a sandwich. And this model would need to be supported, and it's just not. Warrior Spirit. Actually, this one might be the clearest example of like, why not? This is clearly team colored, so the Festus would have been fine. And there have been other heavy gloves that have the Festivizers. So kind of strange. Maybe it's like yeah, I don't know. Hard to say. Maybe they just ran out of time. Okay, Holiday Punch. This they literally added like the gloves of running urgently and shit to the Festivizers list. I don't know how this one couldn't be done. This one is probably one of the most egregious examples. The creator said that he's not sure why the PDA didn't get added, but the Festive Frontier Justice had a bug with the guitar taunt. Whenever you do those kind of taunts and they spawn a new thing, they just make your existing weapon invisible. And so I'm assuming what would happen here is that the festive lights wouldn't be made invisible. So there'd just be like a floating group of invisible lights as you're pulling out your guitar and stuff. Okay, this is interesting. They added the festivizers for the Bison, so it's not really like a rights or a legal issue. But then they just didn't do it for the Thompson. Strange. The Geiger counter was an invasion weapon, so I guess there's some sort of a thing with that. Oh yeah, the short circuit is also strange. I think this might have something to do with like, maybe it's a body groups issue, and they just weren't sure with that. But yeah, it's definitely not a rights issue, because this is a Deus Ex promo item, and I recall they added the festivizers for the Widowmaker, so it's okay. Yeah, Gunslinger is part of your player model, so this makes sense. Not sure why the Destruction PDA didn't get it. Honestly, maybe Valve just thought these were ugly. Razorback is a wearable, so it can't. Interestingly, the Big Kill didn't have it. I would assume this is because it's the same skin on both teams again, because it looks the fucking same. Also, here's a picture of a festive PDA. Honestly, this one is really weird. The lights are really, really big, aren't they? Kinda strange. Actually, do they also have the same skin on both teams? I just realized. Wait, the disguise kit isn't even team colored. So maybe that's the issue too. Okay, apparently this guy also made festive spy watches, but I can see how this would be difficult to implement, or it doesn't fit within what they have. Technically, he says watches are V models, and most V models in TF2 use C models, so that's probably the thing. Oh yeah, also this is the other cool thing that he implemented. He added festive sappers, and he also updated the holograms for it to include the festive lights, but presumably Valve doesn't have the technology for this. I think that's it though. Alright, so those were all of the festives that Valve didn't want to add for one reason or another. Honestly, I don't know if we're really missing out that much. It feels like they basically added all of the big things, and then they genuinely stopped at stuff that were too complicated and, you know, had issues, so it is what it is. Okay, so last thing, if you have played Abby lately on casual, you might have already known what's going on, but let me load into Abby and show you something very strange. So currently, if you go into a match of Abby and you run out of spawn, you're very depressed and you want to end your life. If you drop into the ice cold water, oh shit, what the hell, I'm still alive. Wait a second. This isn't supposed to happen. You're just out in the wilderness. There's a bug with Abby where if you have the Razorback, dropping into the trigger hurt doesn't kill you. What the hell? How could this be? How does the Razorback stop you from dying off a cliff? This is so weird. So what it is that if I showed you an example of a different map real quick, this is CP Steel. Now, on CP Steel, there's a death pit, right? And let's go down to look at it. This death pit is a trigger hurt, and you can specify the damage type that you get from it. So it will show you when you die on CP Steel, it will say you fell to a clumsy, painful death and whatever, right? And it'll kill you. And also, this is how, you know, like death pits are made in TF2. They have to add this volume that specifies, you know, if you go into this space, you die, like instantly. And, you know, it'll deal like 5,000 damage to you. And that's how, you know, like death pits are made. But if I look at this damage type field, this drop down, you notice that the options are pretty limited. And this is where it comes back to the story with Abby. Trigger hurts in the game by default don't have a way of causing you to become an ice statue. So if I swap over to Scout and we no clip there and we stop role-playing, if I jump into this ice cold water, I turn into a statue and die. And actually, here's a clue. You see the kill feed, it says I got backstabbed, but there's who backstabbed me? There's nothing on the left. What the heck happened? What they do on this map to make you turn into ice statue when you fall into the death pit is by spawning a Spicicle and then stabbing you with it whenever you fall into the ice, you know, like the iced water. And so that's why there's even this issue with the Razorback doing anything. It's because the map is stabbing you with a Spicicle and you're blocking it. And so then now, you know, you're just in the water, you lived. And it also only stabs you the moment you step into their like death volume. So if I show you the triggers, there's a seam over here, right? So if I drop into this one and then step into the other one, then I die. Because the triggers activate as you walk into them. Technically, he could have also made the triggers constantly stab you as long as you're in them, and that would have fixed this issue as well. You would have been alive for maybe a few seconds, and then you would die afterwards. But as it stands, that's the issue. Trigger hurts in TF2 can't make you an ice statue, and you get around that by making the map stab you with a Spicicle. But then, unfortunately, there was this oversight where they forgot the Razorback exists, and then you get to live. But so, obviously, to fix this, you just disable the Razorback before you stab them, and then you re-enable the Razorback, so you fix everything. The creator already fixed this on their end, and they're waiting for Valve to add it to the game. But they have publicly posted the code that they used to fix it, so I made a small little demo map to show you the fix. So this is the old one, and you can see if I walk into it, oh man. The trigger hurt doesn't kill me properly. This is the new one. If I step in this one, I'm gonna instantly die, even if I have a Razorback on. There it is. Damn it, I tripped. Yeah, Valve just needs to update Abby again and send out another update, but that's the exciting world of being a TF2 fucking map creator. You just... especially now that there's VScript involved, so you also have to deal with the plight of running into like 100 different edge cases. And you're like an actual programmer having to fix all these random ass bugs that come out of nowhere. I assume now if I try to queue for Abby, there's gonna be like a absolute shit ton of fuckheads trying to trigger this crash. Wow, holy shit, guys, Abby is really popular, dude. It's more popular than even Gavley by such a wide margin. Yavel, that's how you pronounce it, I think. Holy shit, Abby must be a really fucking good map. Let's hop on. Dude, holy shit, just updated again. They got even more unpopular. Damn, Abby, dude. They should give the creator of Abby a sign-on bonus. Holy shit. Or like a performance bonus. This shit's going crazy. I sure hope nobody jumps in the fucking water. Oh my god, I've joined this game and there's only 2 people in it. Yay, ice bath party. Did it crash already? Holy fuck, that was record time. The timer, the pre-game warm-up timer is still on my screen. Okay, but so yeah, it crashes. And so why would that be? We have no fucking idea. We genuinely have no idea. So this is fixed, but why being stabbed by like a map Spicicle? Does it cause issues? I really don't know. I personally speculated that maybe it's because... Let me rule out some stuff for you. So some common assumptions was that, oh, you're spawning a knife every time and that's causing a crash. Nope, not true. There's only one knife and it's used to kill everyone. It's the same one every time. And they write code... Oh, actually, I'm highlighting the wrong thing. This is where it spawns the knife, this one. But yeah, there's only ever one knife. So that's not the issue. I also thought maybe it had some issue with like ownership. I was thinking maybe it's because the map owns the knife, right? So then it's like an invalid player. It'd be assigned to like world spawn, and maybe that's an issue. Maybe when, you know, TF2 starts tabulating the damage that's been done to you, they have to credit the Spicicle backstab, right? And so when it accesses that data, it's accessing like, you know, fucked up invalid player data, right? That's what I thought maybe was the case, but that's not true either, because, well, actually it seems like they just they assign the stabber to yourself, so you stabbed yourself, so that wouldn't really be an issue either. So very strange. And as of this morning, JD of Show Discord did try to look into it, but it, you know, like the debugger just spat out some like random shit. So here it threw an error because it was trying to access like a SMG in the list of the weapons that you have, but that doesn't really make any sense because you have the Razorback on. And then the next time JD triggered the crash, apparently it tried to calculate the scale of his head. So I don't know what the fuck's going on here, man. It makes no fucking sense. I don't think that's the real issue. I think it's just incidental stuff along the chain of the crash that's like causing and like bringing up an error in the debugger, but we have no fucking idea. Okay, that's the bottom line. But so anyways, I will be incredibly surprised if there's another edition of Show News next week. Surely there cannot be more news. Smithfest is over. There's nothing else to talk about. But we'll see. We'll see. All right. Thank you. Goodbye.